What's good? Back with another video. It's been about a week since I did one. It's been a rough 3 weeks, but not so much this evening. The Raiders just won 32-23 against the Denver Broncos. I thought performance-wise, from start to finish, this was probably their best performance so far. Still some things to clean up. There were some times, for example, we still got 3 points, meaning we still got field goals on some of these drives. Had they got maybe a touchdown or two here and there, this game could have easily been a blowout. But they finished in a really good fashion. Josh Jacobs scored a touchdown on the final drive. And just looking here, Josh Jacobs had 28 carries for 144 yards, averaged 5.1 yards a carry. And even Derek Carr, look, 7 rushes for 40 yards. And that was what we needed, especially at crucial times that we haven't been getting much of this year. So much respect to DC for the game he had. He had a really good game on the ground. He went 21 for 34 through the air, 188 yards. Decent game through the air. So hopefully next week against the Chiefs, they get Hunter Renfrow back from a concussion. He's been out 2 weeks, and I thought he may have played this week, but he never even got on the field in the last 2 weeks, not even with a red jersey. So hopefully sometime this week, Hunter Renfrow gets on the field and practices so we can have him against the Chiefs, because we will need him next weekend, or actually next Monday night. That's going to be Monday Night Football against the Chiefs. And considering where the Raiders started 0-3, now they're 1-3, and it's going to be a tall task next week. And as I'm recording this, Sunday Night Football hasn't happened yet. This is like right after the game with the Raiders and the Broncos. So depending on how this game goes tonight versus the Bucks, we'll see what this game next weekend will mean. I mean, it means a lot right now because you definitely don't want to go down to 1-4. But this game next week, though it is in Kansas City, it's not going to be at the coldest time of the year in Kansas City. So I think the Raiders have a really good chance of competing in this game. They got blown out twice last year, but I also want to shout out, which leads me back to the defense. They had a couple of 3-and-outs against Denver's offense, and that was something we didn't have much of, especially last week in the game against the Titans. So that was the best performance I've seen so far by the defense. Max Crosby, I believe, also had 2 sacks. And then shout out to Amik Robertson, who had that interception back for 6. And that was a big part of why the Raiders won the game. The first turnover, I think, since 2014. So we need to see more of those. And to be honest, Amik Robertson, I think it was in the game against Arizona, in fact, he picked off Kyler Murray. So that's his second turnover this year. I don't know how much he's been on the field. I know he's played a little bit more today because of injuries in the secondary. But going forward, I would like to see Amik Robertson on the field more. And then also, Darren Waller, he played much better today. And then I also like the fact that Devontae Adams got more involved with the offense today. So I thought it was a very well-balanced offensive attack. I thought it was a well-balanced offensive attack with Josh Jacobs leading the way. So let's see more of that, especially next week against Kansas City. And also, shout out to Zamir White as well. Now I'm looking here. He only had 2 rushes for 24 yards. But one of those rushes was a really big part of the Raiders closing the game at the end. So, I was actually sitting down on the couch watching the game, and I thought about, why hasn't Zamir White got the ball much in this game? And then sure enough, at that point, at the end of the game, he broke off that big run. I think it was, might have been about 18 yards or so. The only other concern really would be Denzel Perryman. I thought he played really good in the time that he was in the game, but he didn't finish the game, and he actually left with a concussion. So Well, first and foremost, I hope with all the talk about concussions, especially last week, given the way Tua's situation was handled, I hope Denzel Perriman has a speedy recovery from his concussion, first and foremost. And then, secondly, I hope it's something that doesn't keep him out for an extended period of time. Yeah, we definitely want him to get right first, though. That's most important. So hopefully we'll see him next week as well, because we'll need him, just like we'll need all hands on deck against the Chiefs in Kansas City next weekend. So that's pretty much all I got for y'all. I just wanted to make a weekly video to touch base. Hopefully the Raiders can improve upon this week's game plan, get some bodies back, and steal this game next week against the Chiefs. And we're pretty much a couple of weeks out from me going to Vegas, so I hope to see y'all soon. And I hope when I get to Vegas in a couple of weeks, that game is a game where we're going to get back to 500 against the Texans. So we'll see. We'll see. One game at a time. If you made it this far, I appreciate you watching this far. And until next week, it's your boy D Dot, and I'm out.